Okay, right, whatever. This is my grasshopper definition tutorial. So, I started out by generating this beautiful surface right here. You'll see that it began with a series of points, which I then made into curves and surfaces, a planar surface, and extruded. Now, by applying sliders to the x, y, and z vectors, my extrusion can be modulated. It can grow in the x direction. I'm just going to leave it nice and short. Y direction and z direction. Right, okay, great, whatever. So then I used a bounding box on my surface, you can see here, and this bounding box then exploded into faces, edges, and vertices, helped me to generate further items, allowing me to finish my assignment. So by using the edges and vertices, particularly one edge, as I move towards creating a grid over my surface, that edge's length then plugged into this function right here, and that function helped me to determine the spacing of the grid that I would apply. So if I go ahead and hide the bounding box and unhide my grid, you'll see that what I did with my grid was I aligned it to the plane of the bounding box that you saw before, and then set it at a point so that its location would then be able to cover the area of the surface in whichever direction. So by aligning it with the length of one bounding box edge, and then leaving the other two open, I could modulate, you know, how many times my grid was applied and what the spacing of that grid could be. Right? So let's just say I had that. Then I use my grid to find the closest point on the surface. So everywhere my grid intersects, I can generate a point, and all those points can then be translated onto my surface. Beautiful. So by evaluating all of those points, I get all of these pretty little frames on my surface. I'm going to go ahead and hide my grid now. And so with that evaluation, I get the point, obviously, on the surface, the normal of the surface, which is very important, and so those were the two main ones I used. And so now to generate you know, the part aggregated on the surface, I used an arc as my profile and a line from the normal as the vector for which it would be extruded. So you'll see there are my arcs. Whoops, wrong window. All my arcs on the surface at all the points translated from my grid. And all of the lines coming out from the normal of the surface. So now when I extrude my arcs along my lines, I can generate yeah, there we go, generate geometry. And so now I applied sliders to the properties of the arcs and the lines, and that allows me to modulate this geometry. So I can just go ahead and show you. You know, I can make the radius of these arcs grow larger. It's a little slow to kick in here. Grow, there they go. I can increase the angle of the arc, so anywhere from, you know, just a little slice to almost a full circle to a full circle. I think I made the upper limit, like that. And then of course I can adjust the length of the line. To give those extrusions a lot more depth. There we go. Come on. Kick in. There it is. And so, with all those tied together, the grid and the spacing and whatnot, the growth of my surface can affect the growth of my aggregation. So just sort of a realignment here. I can try and demonstrate what I'm talking about. Zoom out. Okay, so again, the growth of my surface, again, let's just say in the X, it will get larger if you just be patient. Come on. There it goes. And so then I can rightfully adjust the spacing of my grid to properly adhere to how much I want my surface to be covered. Right there, sure, like that. Let's just say I'm gonna like bump that spacing up. Oh, come on, don't crash now. Alright, well, I think it's done. Crashing, you all know, is just a part of working in Grasshopper. Oh, it might be coming. Grand finale. Come on. Come on. Thinking. It's thinking. I could play some more Cannibal Corpse for you. I know how much you all love that. You know what? I think you get what I'm trying to sort of, you know, teach you guys. You're all pretty smart. I'm just going to leave it at that. Call it a night. Thank you very much. Tune in again some other time. Same bat time. Same bat channel.